New brakes are coming in the mail, by the way. I ordered new brakes. Oh God, it's so cold outside. How you guys doing today? Welcome to the video. We're back in the Corvette. This isn't fast enough, but it does sound good. Welcome everybody to the channel. My name is Jimbo Baby, and I got a good story for you guys today. That thing that I was talking about that was happening by the end of February, well guess what? It got postponed a little bit. You know, I was like, big things are happening at the end of February, big things, and then nothing happened. They're still happening, it's just they got delayed a little bit. But regardless, everything is still happening. You know, over the last 4 years of my life, you know, from the years of 14 years old to about 18, I'm gonna turn 19 soon. But for the last, 4 years of my life, a lot has changed. And through those years, I've had a lot of different experiences that have changed me. But, going through old files on a computer, you find things that remind you of some of these older times and, older stupid moments of yours. Most notably, I was going through an old hard drive of mine, and I found a video of me driving for the first time. I found a video of my mother letting me drive her crossover, like SUV. It was like a GMC Acadia around a campsite. Every year, twice a year, we would go to a place called Assateague Island. It was a campsite, and we'd tow a pop-up camper with us. And one year, one of the other mothers that we went with, because there were two families we went with, one other of the family let her daughter drive. And me, never driven before, I was kind of jealous. I was like, I want to go driving. But after a bit of badgering, my mother let me drive. But that's not the story I'm talking about here. No, I'm talking about the first time I went joyriding. The reason why that background knowledge is kind of necessary is because that is the car that I had taken joyriding multiple times before I got my license. Let's go back in time to when I was turning 15 years old. I don't know how I did it. I don't know when I did it when I was 14. But I convinced my dad, I said when I turned 15, since that's the year that, you get your learner's permit, I convinced my dad that when I turned 15, on the day I would turn 15, he would let me drive his car, like around, on the streets or around the neighborhood or something like that. And he was reluctant, when I first brought it up, but when I turned 15 and I brought it up, he was like, okay, let's go, it's your birthday. And it was a lot of fun, driving with my dad. He's stupid nervous, but I'm having the time of my life. And it was also, that was the only time I ever went driving with my uncle, because when I had turned 15, he was down for Easter. My birthday's on April 2nd, so at that time they just overlapped. So I went driving with my uncle too. He was in the car, and it was fun, like it was some of the better memories I had with my uncle. Well, that driving got me hooked. Like, I wanted to drive now. Problem was, in the state of Maryland, I know it's different in basically every other state, but in Maryland, you're not allowed to get your driver's permit until you're 15 and 9 months. So basically, not until you turn 16. And you don't get your actual license, like the one that you can drive around, until 16 and 6 months. Little granny shift. Okay, I need to fix this roof. 70 miles an hour, the thing starts wobbling. All my C4 Corvette enthusiasts in the comment section, please, if you know a fix to fix this thing from rattling, oh God, I'm tired of seeing more and more spider cracks. If you know a solution, please let me know. Best part is, even at 16 and 6 months, you're not allowed to drive with any friends in the car, technically. I mean, everyone that I know broke this rule, when they were in high school, but you had to wait another 6 months to drive with other people in the car. It made this much sense. Like, I don't understand why Maryland has all these convoluted rules. But after I turned 15, after that day, I was thinking of ways that I could go driving again. Like this, ooh, Honda over there making moves, okay. Oh, can I make this U-turn? Can I make this U-turn, please? Yes! I can't believe I had enough room for that. I started thinking about doing something I should never ever do, and if you read the title of the video, you probably figure out what it is. Joyriding. First time I did it, parents were out to eat. I knew they were gone for a while, or maybe they were out for some, some big dinner, but I knew they weren't gonna be home for a while. So I grabbed the keys of, my parents' car. It was my mother's crossover, her GMC Acadia, and I just remember I got in, I was scared out of my mind. and I drove the car, and it was exhilarating, you know, driving a fucking SUV. It sounds so stupid to say that, but 15-year-old Jimmy, who had never been driving before, I'm over the moon. I'm going 20 miles an hour down our fucking neighborhood street. That's all I did. I never even went on actual roads. I just went up and down like and around our neighborhood at the middle of the night. To me, this was exhilarating, and I really, really enjoyed it. And that's not good, because what do you think I did after that? Next time my parents went out, I immediately tried to do the same thing again, and again, and again. As bad as it sounds, I'd almost come as close to saying it became an addiction. Because every time my parents were leaving the house, you know, I thought of a way that maybe I could go drive their car. It was so stupid. Don't make me do it. Yep, you're gonna make me do it. Okay, so what I was doing was bad. I was joyriding in my parents' car, whether it was my dad's like Honda Pilot or my mother's GMC Acadia. Like, I was driving these cars whenever I had a chance. Like, it wasn't that often, like it wasn't like every night, but you know, like once a week, if I could do it, I'd get away with it. And just to give some of you guys a bit of reference who might not realize how dumb this is, you know, it's not that I knew how to drive. It doesn't matter if I know how to drive. It doesn't matter if I was a professional driver. I don't have a license. I don't have insurance. If I crash into someone or something, I'm screwed. And correction, no, I'm not screwed. It's my parents that are screwed, because they're the ones that are responsible for me. They'd be sued up the wazoo if I got in trouble for joyriding their car. But either way, what I was doing was nothing short of stupid. And going back, I would never have done this. Like, this was so dumb. Even worse than what I was doing, the worst part was once I got comfortable enough driving on the street, because I was like progressing, you know what I mean? Like, I kept going farther and farther, like driving without a license. I started giving friends a ride with no license. I call up my friends and be like, yo, I got the whip, you wanna go eat? Like, that kind of shit. Like, I truly have no idea what was going through my head. This is another one of those cases where I was just like, I was trying to impress people when I was younger, and God, this was just so dumb on so many levels. Now, thankfully, in all the times that I went joyriding, like, I never hit anybody, I never caused an accident, I never caused any kind of damage, which was, you know, that's good, you know, oh God, if you did. If I had caused any damage, I think I wouldn't have been able to get my license until I was 21, if I'm not mistaken, and that's a long time when you're 15 years old. Now, what finally put an end to me illegally driving around? It was about 5 o'clock at night. You know, I had two friends that I wanted to illegally go driving with. Why? I don't know, but you know, it was about 5 o'clock at night, and I knew that my parents had gone out to eat. So I called up two friends that I knew would want to come with me, and they're like, yeah, let's go. So I picked both of them up, and we started going towards, I think it was like a Five Guys or something. I had asked my parents before they went out, like, hey, could you let me know when you're on your way home? I don't know, they never thought any of this, they never were suspicious of this, but yeah, like, I mean, they never thought twice about it, but they're like, yeah, we'll let you know when we're coming home. So my friends and I are at this fucking Five Guys, and I'm sitting here like, my heart, no matter how many times I did this, my heart was still pumping the whole time, which once again, you know, makes me ask myself, if you were so scared of doing it, why were you doing it? Whole time my heart is pumping. I look at my phone. My phone says, we're gonna be home in 10 minutes. I click on that text message, it was sent 10 minutes ago. My heart dropped. And I remember waiting in line and vividly saying to myself, I'm fucked. I told my friends, like, I'm sorry, but I have to go right now. Thankfully, we weren't too far from where they were anyway, so they're like, yeah, man, it's so cool, don't worry, take care of what you need. But I booked it to the car. I got in, I started driving home. I must have been doing like 70 and a 35 trying to get home on time, just because I'm sitting here, I'm almost like, I'm on the verge of like tears at this point, because I'm thinking to myself, I'm not gonna be able to get my license and yada, 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 or my learner's permit actually, because I didn't even have my learner's permit at the time. I get home and my parents are there, and they're staring at me, pulling in their car. I got out of the car and I started repenting. Like, at this point I was crying. You know, I was so, you know, thinking back on it, like, I almost don't even know how to describe it, because I was so incredibly heartbroken and pissed off at myself. And I knew that my parents were incredibly sad. They're like, why would you do this? The worst part about this though was previously, like, I don't remember how long ago it was, but my parents actually had caught me joyriding. And I told them I'd never do it again, you know, and I went and I did it again. And not only that, my parents weren't even that like mad, they were just extremely disappointed. And you know, it's sad to see your parents, like, it's almost worse to see your parents disappointed in you, like genuinely disappointed, than just mad at you. Because being mad, that doesn't last too long. Being disappointed, it's just a whole different feeling. The consequence ended up being you're not getting your permit at 9 months, you know, like, we'll have to talk about it maybe when you're 18. And I'm sitting here like, I'm heartbroken was the word. And I was mad as hell at myself. You know, like, I mean, I was so mad. I'm like, why did I just piss away, you know, my privilege to get my learner's permit? Now, all because I wanted to go out with some friends in a car that wasn't even mine. I ended up convincing my parents to let me get the learner's permit for my 16th birthday as a Christmas present. I said, you know, for a Christmas present, why don't you let me get my permit when I turn 16? And they were reluctant to do it at first, but after some pleading, and I ended up getting it. And, you know, getting the learner's permit wasn't hard. It was funny. I almost failed the learner's permit test at the MVA. I was 1 point away from failing. I was this close. Getting my driver's license, however, that's a completely different story. That story is for another video. But to put kind of a topper on this video, a takeaway, guys, for the love of God, if you are a younger guy, you're like, you know, 13, 14, 15, if you're a younger girl, you know, and you're thinking about taking your parents' car joyriding, guys, for the love of God, don't do it. Like, I know there's still gonna be some of you guys that do it anyway, even though I say don't do it, but I'm telling you, there is genuinely no reason to do it. It's stupid, it makes no sense, and you're putting so many other things on the line. You're basically putting your freedom at danger at this point, you know, down the line. And, you know, when you're young and you're just getting started in your life, you really don't want to have any other hurdles to go over. But for all that are older and wiser watching my channel, please, if you have a story about doing something like this, please feel free to share it in the comments. I'd love to hear it. You know, knowing car people, I know that joyriding is probably not an unheard of thing. So if you have a story, please let me know in the comments. I'd love to hear it. But that is it for the video, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please like the video for me and also consider subscribing for daily content. And if you take the time to move your mouse or scroll your finger down to hit that subscribe button, what you gotta do, hit that stupid bell thing. Otherwise, you're not gonna see the videos you actually click subscribe for, because that's apparently the way YouTube works now. I don't know. Also, make sure to follow me on all my social medias. Instagram is the place to be. I post on there basically twice a day, giving you guys updates on what's going on in my life and what's going on with the channel. And there's plenty of other things I post on there that I can't really post on YouTube simply because it's not appropriate. How's that for a word? Once again, guys, thank you for watching the video. All of you have a fantastic day.